I mean, we cried the whole time we wrote this song.
Yeah, we really did.
We did.
We didn't know. I mean, do y'all remember being in the room and kind of coming to the realization? I didn't know that Boaz was Rahab's son. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, oh my gosh, well, what if we wrote a song? Sarah actually told this story. Will you tell it? Because we said this beautiful story from her own life that really inspired us to think about what was Rahab telling her son Boaz? What stories of God the amazing stories of God that she had to pass down to him to say, look at my eyes. So will you tell us the story that you told us in the room that day? It sort of inspired that.
What kind of led to me telling this story is that when Rahab's talking in the text that is her words, they are soaked in the songs of Moses and Miriam, they're songs that are, talking about God. And then what's interesting is also her words are words that show up in songs of her great-great-grandson, David. And also her words.
Son David!
Yes.
That's crazy.
Great-great-grandson, David.
Right.
And one of those songs that he wrote ended up being a song that Jesus cried with a loud voice on the cross. My God, my God. And so we were just like, what if? And I mean, because it keeps showing up in this song. What if Rahab is singing to her baby boy? And then Ruth, her daughter-in-law, comes along, hears her mother-in-law singing this song, so then she sings this song to her baby boy. And then it just keeps getting passed down. And one of the things that kept getting passed down is that idea, my heart melts like wax within me. There's such fear and such fright that my heart melts. And I was talking about how with my son, he had broken his arm, and he was going to get his cast off. And of course, he's afraid, justifiably afraid, of the saw that's going to cut the cast off. And so the lady that was the nurse that was going to do it, she starts, the saw, and my son, he's just like 5 at the time, or 4 at the time. He just, tries to climb back up in me. And I said, oh, Jet, man, that seems like that's really frightening. But I know that it's perfectly safe. So how about if you get to be afraid because you can't make yourself stop? You don't know. How about you get to be afraid? I'll hold you in my lap. I'm not afraid. And so you can look at my face. And I turned to the nurse, are you afraid? No. She says, and I said, you can look at my face. I'm not afraid. And I'll hold you while you do it. Do you think you can do that? And he's like, yes. So,
yeah. And that's what Rahab says. She says, I've heard about your God. He's the real God.
That's right.
And,
that's right.
Yeah.
And she's given her look at my face to every woman. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Sing it for us.